Now, there's been a lot of people, including Einstein, I think, who wanted to do a unified field theory dealing with the whole universe, kind of stuff. And I'm not so much that kind of a unified field theorist as I am trying to see how humanity and the animals and plants and everything on Earth are all connected in a cyclical, in a very interesting way that we lost during a lot of the scientific thing when we decided that Earth was like this dead rock and that she didn't have any life and that she wasn't a being and that all these other things. And then we carefully delineated what was a god and what was this and what was that and what had sentience. And if it didn't have our kind of sentience, well then, we can do what we want. We can exploit it. We can enslave it. We can do whatever we want. So I'm fascinated with all this kind of stuff and have been for a zillion years. So when I came across this about 20 years ago by a man named Jorgen Lisner, I have no idea who he is, where he went, or where I got this. But I have been passing it out faithfully for over 20 years because it is significant in the way I look at reality. For people who come from Judeo-Christian ethics or other monotheistic systems, they have their Ten Commandment kind of things. And the Ten Commandments, theoretically, are this list of things. Many people believe in Moses and all this other stuff. But these were set out as guidelines for us to examine and determine our behavior based on these Ten Commandments. Well, I kind of look at these as 10 green commandments in terms of the whole think globally and act locally. I think Jorgen Lisner is brilliant and was able to pull together in 10 sentences many, many, many areas, from my point of view, all areas that to me are significant in giving us an infrastructure, a bottom line, a base from which to make decisions about what we're going to do or not going to do. Because this, for me, these are thought-provoking. After 20 years, I still read these, and I am still provoked by them and excited by them and grateful by them. Because I like to read, even though I take this linear stuff here and I try to translate that into this circular, spiral, holistic DNA, whatever it is, I'm eternally grateful to this man for being able to be the wordsmith that he was in being able to motivate me as it does. So one of the reasons I wanted y'all to have this is because I can tell from meeting with this group only a couple of times that y'all are professionals. You're like me, you think a lot. You spend a lot of time in your brain. So even though I don't use computers and I don't use this and I don't use that, I am still a person that spends a lot of time in my intellectual life. And so I'm trying to realize, to be a healthy human being, how do I bring together my intellectual, physical, emotional, spiritual, blah, 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 all of that stuff together into some kind of a whole system that sees the aspects of other things and doesn't just think this and then miss all the other things that are going on. I always want to say to people, we don't pay much attention to the moon. Most of us don't believe in astrology, and yet we're 70% water. In the Bay of Fundy, which is where the tides are the highest, they go 34 feet with the moon and the effect of the moon on the oceans. So what's the effect of the moon on us? Because we're 70% water. You have to know something's going on. Even if our culture doesn't emphasize it. Even if it doesn't say it's worthwhile. Even if it doesn't do all that. So, I mean, even looking at things practically, like just a practical approach like that, I have to say, something's going on that I'm not paying no attention to. And I haven't been taught to pay attention to that. So what are the things that I've been taught to pay attention to? And are those things really valid for the life I live now and the world that we're heading into? And so I like to examine those assumptions exactly like you were talking about. What are the things that we've been trained to place as important? And how do those exacerbate, interfere, enhance the direction that we're going? If you're going toward the ocean, swimming might be a good idea. Knowing how to swim. Knowing how to make a raft might be a good idea. If you're heading inland, you might need different skills than that. So where are we headed? And so what I noticed about this group is that these people, y'all, are thinkers. So being a thinker means that you're going to handle the green businesses, the green investing, the green homes, the green practical this, the green products, the green whatever. Okay, you're going to do all that. And you'll do all that when I'm gone. But something like this, for me, is like behind all of those decisions. It's a way of examining our place in the world and our relationship with everything else in the world. Because when we make decisions, what Native people used to say is we need to make decisions for 7 generations. We need to think 7 generations in the future. What is it going to mean if we eat all of the shrimp out of this part of the ocean? What does that mean for our great-great-great-great-great-great-great-grandchildren? What are they going to eat? So that kind of thinking is not a thinking that we've been encouraged to do because it's not part of our economic system for the most part. If we'd have been thinking about this a long time ago, what kind of vehicles might we have been producing in the United States instead of SUVs, for instance? Or what kind of homes might we be encouraging people to live in? What kind of systems might we be, like, what do you call this, the geothermal? What kind of systems would we be putting in homes a long time ago? You know, instead of suddenly now we've got to rush and put in geothermal or something that's intelligent instead of wasting.